Guys, Evan Rook here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Bandai Godzilla Ultima figure. Now again, this is one of the figures I got very recently from the double box day video. Perhaps some of you might remember that. If not, I encourage you to watch it because that's where I got this figure, but another figure that I plan on reviewing next Monday. However, this is the first figure I've ever gotten from Godzilla Singular Point. I might get more over the summer, who knows, because number one, I have to watch it, but I'm in the midst of watching something else on Netflix right now, so the second I'm done with that, I'll definitely dive into Godzilla Singular Point because it's been out on Netflix for a while, and as a Godzilla fan, who am I not to watch Godzilla Singular Point, despite the fact, you guys know me, I'm not a big anime fan when it comes to combining Godzilla and anime together. However, when it comes to this figure specifically, it is still a very good figure, and I'm just going to go right off the bat and say that my favorite thing the favorite thing I have about this figure probably is the detail. The detail on this figure is actually very nice. It is probably, well, I'll get into that later actually, but it is still very good. You have the lines right here on the legs, lines right here that make up kind of like the rough skin color all across the tail, across the stomach, and you have this, beautiful kind of like white lining all over his chest that's really nicely done. You have the scales here, by the way, that go over his chest, You also have scales here on the shoulder. Nice detail with the spines. They look very linear and nice. Right here, they have like almost like little linear parts of the dorsal plates. You also have pretty good facial detail, right? This isn't like the detail where the detail's good, but the actual facial detail kind of sucks. This still has very good facial detail. You have, the horns, and I shouldn't say the horns, not a horn. These kind of like spikes in the back that pretty much the dorsal plates, but lead up to the actual main dorsal plates, but we can see those really now well. We have good facial detail with the cheekbone, the mouth, or kind of the jawbone, the eyes, really nice detail. The teeth aren't really done because they're painted on the actual vinyl. They're not like their own little thing, which I understand can be difficult, so I won't, criticize them on that part. But again, very good facial detail and very good detail as a whole. So let's move on to the next thing I like about this figure. So the next thing I like about this figure is the paint job. Now the paint job on this figure is very close to being up to par with the detail, but I think the detail remains a lot better, and I already explained why earlier in the video. But anyways, let's get into the paint job of this figure, which is slightly above average. The detail is, I'd like to say, pretty well above average. This is slightly above average, and then we'll get into the cons, which I think you can already guess by not mentioning one particular pro that I usually do, how that's going to be a con, but you'll see what I mean later on. So the paint job on this figure really only has 2 or 3 colors, but the way that they're shaded in is very nice. And those two or three colors are this. You have the actual grayish black color, I should say it's more of a gray that takes up the entire figure, and you have the actual silver that is scattered across the design, but very noticeable around the dorsal plates and around the neck, the chest, you name it, it's there. And I guess white. I mean, this is more so silver, and then this is just plain old white for the claws, but they look very similar, so I guess I'd count that as a different color. But yeah, in general, there's around 2 or 3 colors, but the shading with this is what makes the paint job really nice. I like how it goes from grayish black to then a nice light gray to a very light gray to a very light white, and then that's the actual color of the claws. I'm referring to the feet, by the way, when I said that. You also have nice shading when it comes to the actual dorsal plates, and how they kind of just transition into that gray. Might not be too much of a transition, as good as the actual feet are, but you get the picture. They're still very nice. So again, the paint job on this is slightly above average, or I might as well just say it's average, but it is definitely deserving of a pro. And let's get into the cons of this figure. Now, I really only have one main con with this figure and maybe another nitpick, but I'll get into the nitpick later because, as we always do, we make the big con, the one that I say first, and that is that the articulation on this figure is slightly under average, but it still is a big con because which figure, is considered good that doesn't have a lot of articulation made by Bandai? There isn't really many. But in this case, there's only 4 joints of articulation. You have this, and the tail, which, oh my god, you could say it moves. Guess what? It's a glue seal. Isn't that nice? So yeah, it is, you get the picture. It doesn't really have a lot of articulation. They could have made the tail articulated, they could have made the head articulated, and that altogether would have been 6 or 7 joints of articulation, which would have made me very happy because, in my opinion, a Bandai figure should have at least 5 joints of articulation, at least 5. So they definitely could have added 6 or 7, maybe even 8. But you get the picture. Bandai's Bandai. They give so many opportunities to make their figures better, and despite the fact they are generally good, they turn down any opportunities to make them even better than they were originally. So that's the biggest con I have with this figure. And now that I think about it, I don't really think there is a nitpick. So altogether, I would rate this figure a 9 out of 10. It is a very, very good Bandai figure. Definitely not one of those figures that you would just want to have in your collection. You really want to have in your collection because it's very good. At least now it's affordable, but from what I hear by a lot of people searching for this on Amazon, the price is going up. I think I got this for $26. Now it's above $30, and the later, later in the year it gets, it's going to rise to $40, $50. And definitely by 2022, I won't be surprised if I see it for $70 as I do like the average Bandai Final Wars Rodin, which we all thought was cheap, but I guess not now. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting this now before it goes up too much in price. It's already gone up around 10 bucks. You should get it now before it reaches $40. That is, if it even already hasn't reached $40. But anyways, I still would recommend this figure, especially because a lot of G fans are still in the mode of watching Godzilla Singular Point now that it's on Netflix, which I plan on doing myself too. And maybe a review for Godzilla Singular Point once I'm done, we'll see. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.